Hello, everybody. Oliver G here from the Earful Tower. Today, we're going to be talking with Jane Bertch, who will perhaps be a familiar name to Francophiles and people who love Paris. She is the woman behind La Cuisine Paris.
Yes.
And she's already here in the studio with me. Can you hear her? Hello, Jane.
Hello, sorry.
It's very rare I do the intro with the guest sitting in front of me, but you're here. We may as well own it.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about you, your book, and your cooking classes, and also how Paris has changed over 25 years. Are you ready?
I'm ready to go.
Let's hear some intro music. A huge shout out to the Patreon supporters, the Substack supporters, and everybody who books our walking tours. More on that at the end of the episode. But first, some music from Pres Maxson. Jane Bertch, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. We've, I'm just saying, I had to put my chair down. I say, we bump into each other so much in Paris. You're one of my main bump intos, you know?
Yes, that's intentional. I've been stalking you.
Yeah, you're always at the front of my place. No, but we live pretty close in the 12th arrondissement. Is that giving too much away about our
No,
lives?
I love it, and it's the best neighborhood in the world.
Well, let's start there. Why do you say that?
It is. It feels like Paris to me. Mm-hmm. There's parts of it that are unchanged.
Interesting. Although, funny you say that because it's also changing dramatically and quickly.
Yeah, it is.
It's becoming the cool place.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got this mashup of like a very popular area. You have the market, which everybody's at. And then now we've got these fancy coffee shops just on the backside.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Totally.
I'm wondering if the greater public out there in listener land realizes how cool the 12th is.
I don't think they do.
Is it good that we talk about it?
I'm happy to share.
Yeah, me too.
You know, Paris is for everyone.
Yeah, I agree. And then, but on top of that, you work in the Marais.
Yes, I do.
I sort of work in the Marais too. I spend a lot of time in the Marais.
I know you do.
Yeah, we just cross paths all the time. And eventually, I bump into you in the street. And I don't know if you remember this. You had your headphones in. You were walking down the road. I was like, Jane.
Yes.
And then I just came up and I showed you a picture on my phone of me reading your book on the Seine River or something.
Yes.
And I was like, guess what I just started reading? And said, I want to have you on the show. And you were like, oh.
Oh, when I was smiling ear to ear, wasn't I? That really made my day. That
I was
such a
stalking you on that
surprise.
day. It's always nice to be reading a book by someone and then seeing them in the street.
Yeah.
That's such a treat. But we're going to talk about the book. We're going to talk about cooking classes. But I want to rewind first to the year 2000 when you moved to Paris.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the word is financier. Is that the word? Finance?
Well, probably. I moved for finance, but I was a banquier.
Okay, banquier, a banker.
Yes, a banker.
So you were in London working as a banker. You came to Paris. We're going to talk about this in the book and everything first, but I want to get a picture of it. So you're a numbers lady, basically.
I would say I'm a relationship lady that understands numbers.
Okay. Are you really good at maths?
You know, yes, but everybody is.
Mm.
It's just, do we want to focus on learning it?
Yeah.
That's always the difference,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So you came here as a young lady from Chicago via England.
Yes.
You're in Paris year 2000. You
Yes.
talk about in your book, but 25 years ago, that puts you in the sort of old guard of Paris. Expats is a funny word to use, but you know, the crew of people who've come from abroad. And
Wait, sorry. No, I came here in 2005.
well, that changes
Same
everything.
thing. Oh my God. Okay, I'm
Okay,
getting lost.
20 years. 20 years ago. It's still
Because I'm doing the math and I'm like, wait, how old am I?
Hang on, Jade. You said you were good at imposter.
I know.
So 2005 still, that's still 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Long time before I got here. Do you feel that the city's changed an awful lot?
I absolutely do. It's very, very different. Again, I came under a different pretext, so my life was so different. So there's that change. But Paris itself, I believe, has become so international. I mean, when I first came here, I wanted to have a burger.
Yeah,
Right? Just a little comfort food. I couldn't find one anywhere. Now it's everywhere.
When do you think that change happened? And now I've got a deeper question after that. But do you think there was a point that turned everything?
I would love to figure that out. I don't know. Maybe in maybe about 10 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
Would you agree that?
Well, that's what I moved here about 10 years ago, and I've noticed a change as well. And that leads to my deeper question is what you mentioned. Is it just you that's changing? Or like the way you see things? Like maybe you don't think, I mean, obviously burger shops and coffee shops and stuff are opening, but can a city transform so much in 20 years, or is it more Jane Bertch that transforms?
That's a beautiful question.
What's the answer?
And I think it's both of us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm inevitably a different person than I was yesterday.
The thing, isn't it? Yeah.
And I'll be a different person after our chat.
Well, I mean, I think about sometimes I go to the areas that I used to live when I first moved here, and I walk down the streets. I do this weirdly often. I'll walk down an old street, an old neighborhood, and see it with my eyes from today. So today I'm a parent. Today I'm interested in history more than I was then. Today I'm a podcaster. Then I wasn't. Today I see things and think what other people might think of them, because that's kind of my job.
Right.
Where I think that could be a good walking tour. And I'm like, it's the same street, but I'm very different. Yeah. And that's kind of the beauty of Paris, or anywhere really, is that you can keep seeing these same things with different eyes. So, and then as you said, they're changing too. So it's like a kaleidoscope of experience here, isn't it?
It is, but I think the beauty is that you can see things differently. And you search to see things differently. And I think that's what keeps us fresh and happy, because the day-to-day mundane can get heavy if you're not willing to try to see things differently.
This is turning into like an inspirational speech for everybody.
Because I need it for myself today.
I'm not feeling like working. Too. This is good. This is great. Okay. So talking about change, you were a banker, you're in the banking world. I think 16th arrondissement you were spending time, is that right?
Well, I lived in the 16th and I worked in the 8th.
Okay, that's a whole different life to the 12th and the Marais. Wow, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, I think you said in the book that, so I read the book, loved the book, read it over the summer holidays. And I'm reflecting now, you were having a chat with your friends, what would you do if you could do anything in the world? Something like that.
Yeah.
And you said, open a cooking school.
Yeah.
There's a very, very high chance people listening to this podcast episode right now have done your cooking classes in Paris.
I hope so.
I would say almost with certainty. How did this happen? You're like, you're no chef.
No.
Self-confessed, not a chef.
Not at all.
Are you good at cooking? Were you good at cooking?
No.
Yeah.
No. So I don't have a clear answer to that, and I think that's the beauty of the universe. Sometimes you just don't have an answer to things. You're drawn to it. And it also was at a time when I had some personal trauma with family members, losing family members. And, I hate that we let trauma realign our interests, but that made me realize I wasn't where I needed to be.
Yep.
And this idea popped out of the universe.
Cooking classes.
Just to do cooking classes. Yep. Now, I think when you're in a point of discontent, a wonderful thing is to allow yourself to dream of things that could be possible. And anything is possible if you're willing to put the time and effort to it. So I guess the answer would be, why not?
Yes.
For any of us, why not?
Some say why, some say why not.
Yeah.
A wise man told me that.
Yeah.
So you said why not? Yeah, why not? You said why not? You went to you started a cooking school from the ground up, basically. Don't know what you're doing. Were you inspired by others before you?
Not at all.
No?
Not at all. It's just sometimes you get on these journeys where it feels stronger than you. Yeah. And it could be a deflection from your day-to-day because you're not happy. And one day you look up and you say, wow, okay, well, maybe I can do this.
Yeah. And then the book details you starting, and obviously well, maybe it's not obvious, but I think a lot of people who listen to this podcast know of the trials, and I don't even know what a tribulation is. I was going to say
I don't know.
No one
We use
knows.
that word a lot, though. Yeah. I'm going to look it up after.
It doesn't deserve to get used so much. The trials of living in France and starting a company. Everybody knows that there's a lot of red tape and troubles, and you detail them in a fun and interesting way in the book to tell the story of how you built it and how you overcame all these challenges along the way. I don't want to spoil the book or anything, but it leads you to the Marais, which is where your HQ are now. And you've had the company since 2009, so 16 years. I told my mum that I was going to talk to you.
Okay.
I was talking to her right before we met, and she was on the plane with me when I was reading the book, and she started reading your book too. And she said, she says, ask her who does the classes.
Okay.
And I said, I know what she'll say as a businesswoman. Do you want me to guess what you're going to say, or do you want to say first?
As in the clients?
What your answer is, yeah.
Well, people from all over the world. I think people that are curious about culture.
Yeah.
People that want to discover a country through the food.
And what about like broad demographics? Like,
oh, okay. I will say my average client is probably a woman aged 35 to 75.
There you go. That's way more specific. I thought you were going to say, you know, when people have a business and you say who comes, they say everybody comes. It could be a 3-year-old or a 9-year-old.
No, we love everyone to come. But for some reason, that is our demographic.
American?
Very heavy American, but we do get
heavy
folks,
Americans.
No, very heavy in American clients, but we do get folks from all over the world. We get lots of Australians.
I bet we have a very similar demographic of people listening to this to this podcast as well. Okay, cool. And people come in. What's the bestseller? I'm going to do a class. I've been talking to you about this.
I know. I've been trying to get Oliver G in a class.
Can't get me in an apron
for years.
Yeah, no, I will
There's
come.
nothing more fetching than the thought of you in an apron.
Really? Yeah. Okay, I'll do it. Where? No, I'm just kidding. I know where, but when? Let's do this.
Okay. Well, we're just going to set it up.
Okay. Well, we'll do that off camera then. But what's the talk me through the cooking classes. So when you started making them, I know that the market one was a sort of a fun challenge to set up.
Yes.
And we're recording this just after August in Paris, and we were talking about how market's a challenge even in August every year.
Exactly.
But is that the best-selling course?
I will say seasonally, it absolutely is. Summertime is great for the markets. Everybody wants to be outside. But all year long, globally, it's the croissant class.
Yeah.
French croissants.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. There's such a mystique around them. They're iconic with the culture, even if there's a lot of debate about whether or not they actually are French from origin.
Sure, they're meant to be Austrian or something, right?
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah. But they're so iconic, and I think there's just something wonderful about learning how to make something that you love to eat, right? Even if you never do it again, making a croissant in Paris.
I know, we'll talk about it from your book, about how you sort of, I don't know if this is putting words in your mouth, but you sort of reinvented the making a croissant for a class.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But also, I just want to put it on the record, I love croissants.
Do you?
More than maybe any Australian in Paris.
What's your favorite?
What's my favorite?
Do you have a favorite?
As in from where, or just favorite type? No, not even.
No, okay.
I don't. My local one, which is probably maybe even your local one as well. I'm happy with that. I'm pretty happy with all of them, to be honest. And I love them so much. Like to the degree that it might be a main reason that I've stayed in France for 10 years. They're so good. I can't help it.
So I'm kind of picky about croissants.
Yeah.
But the croissant I love is not. It's not technically superior.
What does that mean?
Because, a croissant, what makes it beautiful is the very airy center and the crisp topping.
Yeah, sure.
And that's great, but I love one that's really buttery and salty.
Yeah.
I don't like a sweet one.
Yeah.
And that makes them a bit more dense.
Okay. Bit of crunch?
Little bit of flake.
Yep.
But I'm happy to have butter all over me.
Yeah.
As I'm eating it, and those probably would not be award winning, but
I think I know what you mean, and I'm very open and positive about all of them. Like I'm the least fussy. Like I will be like, oh, this one's buttery, great.
Okay.
This one's, as long as they're not like a stale old one. I was in England recently. Get this, I was in England recently in a small town, to be fair, in a sort of cake shop, bakery, coffee shop kind of thing. And I was just chatting to the lady behind the counter. I said that I live in Paris, and she goes, "Oh, what do you think of our croissants?" And I was like, "Oh," I had a look, and they had mini croissants, right?
Okay.
And I go, "Well, did you make them?" And she said, "Oh no, we just heat them up or whatever." And I said, "This morning?" And she goes, "Oh no, before." And I was like, "Before?
Before
okay.
what?
Yeah.
How do you get before the morning?
Before Christ, I don't know.
Right.
But I said, I go, honestly? And she goes, yeah, would you have one? And I said, honestly, you'd probably be guillotined for doing something like that in Paris. I'm not being snobby at all. Like,
right.
It's just that it would seem so weird for me that they had yesterday's or the day before mini croissants just sitting there. And I went back past it the next day and the shop was closed, but all the croissants were still out there. And as I mean, people listening around the world will maybe be like, that's not a big deal. But in Paris, you will never see yesterday's croissants in a bakery or in a closed bakery.
No.
They get rid of them, right?
Well, yesterday's croissants can be tomorrow's croissant au monde. Croissant aux amandes.
See, they know what they're doing, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so I love a croissant wholeheartedly, and I eat many of them, and it's a miracle that I'm not a weighty Australian. But is that what you said before? A heavy? What did you say?
I said we're heavy in numbers
that's right.
of Americans.
But what about, how did you redo how we make croissants in croissant classes? What's the challenge?
Okay, so basically it's kind of, it's not a magic kitchen per se, but to make a croissant start to finish, you need about 6 hours. And a lot of that is dead time where you're just letting dough rise. So we just kind of flipped the order of the class where you start out shaping dough that has already gone through that process.
Right.
And then let that rise while you're doing the rest of the class, which is learning how to make the dough. Because that's the big thing you want to know is how to make the dough. But if we don't do that first part, you're not going to enjoy eating croissants at the end of the class.
Okay, walk me through it again because I misunderstood. Okay, so you come in. Okay, let's talk. I go into the class.
Okay, you come into the class. Yep. You put on your apron. Yep. I take a picture of you.
Yep.
You then roll out what is called a péton, and you shape it into croissants, pain au chocolat, whatever shapes.
Yep.
Put it to the side, and then that's going to rise.
And that's the bit that usually takes hours.
To get to the point where you can roll out dough takes hours.
That's the bit that takes hours. Gotcha,
yes.
Gotcha.
So we start with dough that you can work with. Put it in the corner, let it rise. That will be baked off. So at the end of the class, you can taste something.
I got it.
And then you switch to actually learning how to start to finish, make the dough yourself. But you can't eat it because it's not fully risen.
And then so someone comes in 4 hours early to get that.
It depends. Sometimes we do, when we have a quiet day, we'll do, just make a ton of them. Once in a while, a student will make a really beautiful one that we can keep. But obviously, most people doing it for the first time, they don't necessarily excel.
Sure. That's a very nice way of putting it. How do you spell péton? Péton.
P-A-T-O-N.
Péton. Okay. See, I'm already learning something. I haven't even donned the
You're
apron
going to step
yet.
into the class like I can teach this.
I'm ready. What else? What are the other? So let's say you've got someone coming over to Paris. I always say when I do walking tours, I'm like, your time is your most precious thing. You got 4 days in Paris. Obviously you'd want them to do 4 cooking classes in 4 days, right? But let's be reasonable here. People are going to come and do 1, maybe 2 cooking classes, let's say. Where besides the croissant, what's something that...
I want to make a plug for the market because I think that's just a special experience to go to the French market. And then, it really depends on your interests. We have savory classes like sauces. There's an apéro class in the evening if you want to learn how to make little French hors d'oeuvres and such, and that's very convivial. I think people that come not only want to have fun learning something, but the hidden surprise is I hope the atmosphere in the class.
Yep.
And they get to interact with other people that have the same interest.
People. Yeah,
exactly.
I can relate to that because it's the same with, so I do these walking tours at a semi-private.
Right.
And it's the people that come on the tours are often people who obviously love Paris. They like my show.
Yeah.
And they like to hear about the history of the Marais, for example. And then they start, it's always, I bet you have the same thing. Sometimes I sneak a look over my shoulder and you see Sally from Ohio is talking to, Steve from California. And you're like, synergy, energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Which is no surprise to me because you've created such a beautiful community and you're just allowing them to come together in person.
Thanks, Jane. I got a question for you that's it's kind of, when you were talking about people coming to learn about French culture and French cuisine, something I've been grappling with in recent days is I had this idea for my show to take the top 10 countries of listeners, right? So number 1 is the US, Australia's up there, and then the countries get kind of unexpected for the next 10 maybe. And I wanted to focus a day on those countries. So let's say Germany is one of the countries. I wanted to go out and find German restaurant in Paris, go to a German pub and have German beer, these kind of things. See the German art on display in Musée d'Orsay.
Right.
And I got some comments from people that are like, when I come to Paris, I'm there for French food and just French food. And it got me thinking, because I agree with that entirely. If you come here on short trips, that you should be tasting French food and doing French stuff all the time. But then if you want to come here and be a local, like a Parisian, Parisians don't just have boeuf bourguignon every day and croissants. They have Japanese food and stuff. And I was like, where's the line? Where's the, like from your perspective, you want everyone to come and learn French food. But is that the real Parisian experience? Is French food and French art and so on? What do you think?
That's such a good question. You know, oh gosh, that's a long question. I feel like it's a bit too early for wine. But if I were sitting with a wine bottle and we really got into this, I would try to remind people that French food is just not classic French food. One of our biggest consumed foods in France is couscous.
Yeah, okay.
So French food is so diverse when you look at the makeup of French people. But I also appreciate if you're here to discover classics, you have to start somewhere. And do people really want a local experience? Maybe they want what their dream has been. And I love and appreciate that. Like when I go to Chicago, even as a Chicagoan, I don't want a local experience.
Yeah.
I'm not driving to work every day. I'm not paying my bills. I'm not, you know, I want to have a Chicago experience. And I think that's okay as long as I'm respectful and I understand that Chicago is not just that.
How many days in a row can you eat just French food before it gets too many days of French food?
Ooh.
Now, what day do you need to say? I know what it is in Italy. I had, we were there for 10 days. And on the 11th day, we were like, we came back to Paris and we had sushi or something immediately.
Yeah.
It's 10 days was the limit.
Well, if I were here eating out heavy as I like to eat, because I'm a steak and potatoes gal, and that translates into steak frites.
Yeah, sure.
I can't do that every day.
Oh, sure.
I can't.
Yeah. Can we talk about Chicago briefly?
Yeah.
Did you ever see Michael Jordan play?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't, but I was. You're like, you're dead to me now.
Yeah, that was it.
But I was there during the glory days.
Is that then?
When
the
we
90s?
were winning.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the city would shut down. And that was such a celebration.
I could probably, every time I talk to someone from Chicago, I ask that question. And the answers are similar to what you said.
I
just
know.
then. Yeah.
It's like very few people that actually got to see him play.
It feels like it, yeah. Okay, back to Paris and back to your book and so on. The book is called The French Ingredient. It has a subtitle as well, Making a Life in Paris One Lesson at a Time. Now, the book came out 2024. You've probably talked to a bunch of people and taught about it. Did you find banking to making cooking classes, did you find skills from them led into writing a book, or was it a whole new undertaking?
I'm so glad you asked me that. This is my passion project now, Oliver. A lot of times we don't make change because we feel like we don't have the skills. And we absolutely do. We are a warehouse of past experiences that we can transition into new ones. So absolutely, my time at the bank did help me in starting a business. Now, there are all sorts of other things I had to learn, obviously, cultural codes, how you get things done here. This is a social economy, not a market economy. But I was able to take things with me, and we all can. Like you've come here with your past life, and you've reimagined it into who you are today. You know, you just build upon your foundation, right?
And then... you sat there. What made you start writing the book? Was there a point, or was it just like, what was it?
COVID.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
That was my dark point of not really understanding what would be the future of a business. That was in the vortex of hell. Excuse my language.
No, that's fine.
It was in the center of food and tourism, both things that were very troubled.
Yeah.
And I turned to writing to try to remind myself of what I'd done. And again, by the luck of the universe, I do believe in that. Sometimes things come into your path. It turned into a book.
Spews out of the vortex of hell.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
I'm not a therapist, but they're two sort of traumatic things that have changed to spark big changes in what you've done career-wise by the sound of it.
Yeah.
What's next?
Oh, Well, the book has led me to really believe in the power of personal transformation for all of us. And we don't have to wait for a trauma. The trauma could be, you know what, I'm just really tired of what I'm doing and I don't feel aligned and I don't feel like I'm following my North Star. And there's no secret formula into making that change. And I'd love to spend time with people more looking at that. And that has nothing to do with cooking.
No.
And that has nothing to do with banking. But I think some of the skills I've learned over the past years will help me help people who are in that transition period and need to remind themselves that they can do it.
Coaching them or something?
I haven't gotten clear on that yet. And I'm allowing myself to have time to experiment.
Cool.
To see what is really calling me.
I like it.
And not having to have the answer right away.
I think there's, I know that there'll be people listening who haven't been following their North Star for a while and are probably ready to write down whatever you're about to say. But is there a place that they can follow you and keep track of you and your journeys? I'm
glad you ask. You can follow me on my personal Instagram page, which is just my name, Jane Bertch. I'm not talking about croissants or...
B-E-R-T-C-H.
Exactly.
Good Scrabble score with that B and the C and the H there.
Yes.
You get some points
there.
I
should have known. Follow me on my personal page. You know, La Cuisine is its own entity. She's 16 years old, and she's talking about croissants and Eiffel Towers. Yep. I'm talking about things that are more meaningful to me right now.
Right. Well, there you go. There's a call to action, everybody.
Call to action.
Speaking of call to actions as well, I'm going to don an apron and come and do one of your classes very soon, share pictures of it. And
I can't wait.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it as well. I might do croissants, actually.
I think you should. I think you should.
I think it'll be fun. Maybe we could do a video or something.
Yeah.
I'll think about the best way. Yeah, that would be fun. And for all you folks at home, The French Ingredient is the name of the book. I picked this one up in Shakespeare & Company, so I know it's in the bookshops around town.
Yes, it is.
Otherwise, I'm sure it shouldn't be a problem for people finding it.
No, it's on Amazon and book.org and all of those great spots.
Anywhere you want to find it. And then links to everything below, including La Cuisine. And now you know where to find it on Instagram as well. But Jane, I don't know why it took... I didn't even know how many seasons of this show that I've done, but it took that many before we sat down together.
I know, but isn't it? It's just perfect. Timing is divine.
Timing is divine.
It always is.
Yes, timing is divine. It was nice to have you in here and to talk to you and to hear your story. And I think we hit it off. I think we got rapport.
Yes.
So it'll happen again.
Maybe we should have our own show. Can we splinter off? Yes. Can we have a spin-off?
Yeah. I like the Vortex of Hell. Is that... Would that work?
That'd be a catching name.
Well, let's see what happens.
Well, that is business in France, right? In
That's
general.
True. Yeah.
That's a whole nother podcast, Oliver.
Yeah. I think sometimes, though, there's a risk of, because there's so many stories about these difficult, and like when you live here, like you wrote the book, I wrote a similar kind of My Life in Paris book, and you tell them, and the stories are eye-opening and interesting and fun and drag your fingers down the chalkboard. But I found like in Paris, because we all have stories about leaks in the apartment and, these kind of business things, it reminds me sometimes of telling about a dream that the other person doesn't want to hear. Have you ever had this? When someone's like, I've got a leak in my apartment, I'm like, okay.
Right, thanks.
So do I. And it's kind of like when someone goes, I had the weirdest dream the other night, and they start telling you, and you're like, where is this going?
Right.
If this is going to sound really vain, but if you're not going to add me in your dream.
I was just thinking, am I a part of it? Did I play a role?
Yeah, well, no. Okay, what are you talking about then? You're just telling me a thought you had when you were asleep. Imagine if you told people thoughts you had when you were awake.
I know.
If you just go, I was thinking about this just then. Okay, right. Anyway, we've spiraled out of control, Jane, but our time is up. So I just want to say thanks for coming into the studio.
Thank you for having me.
An honest thanks for bringing in a coffee, which never has happened before, I don't think, in all the years I've been doing this podcast. So a double thanks. And everyone at home, go check out that book and book a cooking class. Jane, thanks for being on the Earful Tower.
Thank you. And thanks to everybody out there for listening.
So that was Jane Bertch, lovely lady. The French Ingredient is the name of her book. It's linked below, La Cuisine Paris. Sounds like she's got some exciting things in the future, so be sure to follow her along as well. As for me, my name is Oliver G. This show is the Earful Tower. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to support it in any way, shape, or form, it's very appreciated. the cogs are spinning because of the members on Patreon and Substack, where there's a whole host of benefits. As you probably heard, there's no sponsor on this show. It's just the listeners making it happen. So thanks to all of them. Links to that below. Otherwise, come and do a walking tour, either with me on Monday mornings or one of my lovely and excellent guides. We'll take you around the Marais, Montmartre, or the Latin Quarter, or probably anywhere else. If you just ask for it, we can do it. So on that note, check out the earfultower.com/tours. Otherwise, hang around. Next week will be another episode as usual. I've enjoyed sharing Paris with you this week, and I'll do it again next week. Merci beaucoup, and au revoir.